Hello, everybody. We are back. The NBA is back. We're excited about this. It's like waking up to that first spring day after a long, snowy winter. There are NBA games on television. The league is starting up again, and there are storylines to watch. Here are 10 things you should be looking for, 10 things you should be watching as we head into the NBA restart. And number one, on the top of the list, can the 76ers actually pull this together? I mean, look, they've been like a sleeping giant all year. This was a team that came within a couple of wild Kawhi Leonard shot bounces from the corner from actually going to the finals last year. Jimmy Butler's gone, and the offense never came together. This year, they're trying something new in the restart. Al Horford, you're on the bench. Shake Milton starting. The big move, Ben Simmons to the four, off the ball a little more, setting some picks, making some cuts. On paper, this actually sounds like a pretty good idea, but the new starting five in Philly has played 0 minutes together this season. Can they really pull this together at the last second? Maybe. If they do, they are probably the biggest threat to the Bucks in the East, but until I've seen it after a season of disappointment, it's hard to completely buy in. Number two, another storyline. Who's going to get the 8th seed in the West? Probably the Memphis Grizzlies, honestly. Just mathematically, they have such an advantage. The 3.5 game lead means if they go 3-5 and teams are going to finish in front of them, they've got to go 8-0. It's just not going to happen. They are going to have to just make it there and then win 2 games in a row in the play-ins. It's possible, though. There are 2 teams with a real shot at them. The New Orleans Pelicans, the team everybody actually wants to see take on the Lakers in the first round. Everybody wants to see Zion. Assuming Zion's family matter is cleared up and he is actually back for games, they are a real threat. This is a team playing better than any of these other teams at the end of the season. They've got Drew Holiday. They've got Brandon Ingram. They've got defense. They've got a lot of things that work. However, I'll tell you, the team the Lakers fear, the team the Lakers don't want, the Portland Trailblazers. Man, nobody wants to see Portland. You don't want Damian Lillard in the first round. They've got Yusuf Nurkic back, which makes them vastly better, much more like the 53-win team that went to the conference finals a year ago. Nobody, the Lakers in particular, really do not want to see Dame in the first round. The Lakers think they'd still win, but Damian Lillard's going to make them work. Portland and New Orleans have a shot, but I still am going to take Memphis to get that 8th seed. What about bubble fatigue? This is like number 3 on my list. This is a sneaky storyline. We saw it nationally, right? Everybody got real tired of the protocols and the restrictions and everything that came with dealing with coronavirus to the extreme that obviously as a nation, we're not getting rid of it. That fatigue is going to hit the bubble. There are a lot of restrictions. Players are by themselves. Why is the NBA trying to throw a pool dance party with 350 guys? Like, there's one aspect missing from that are going to keep guys from coming to a pool party, right? Like, there's one major sec. Anyway, as much as the NBA made it entertaining and put stuff into the bubble, guys are going to get tired of this, and there's going to start to be pushback. And watch for teams that are fading, teams that are disinterested in being there in the first place, or teams that are just not like about to fall out. They're about to lose their playoff series. Watch for guys to push back against the bubble restrictions and try to find their way out or do something. It's going to get messy, just like it has nationally. Number 4 thing to watch for, don't sleep on the Toronto Raptors. They're the defending world champions. They are the 2 seed in the East with the 2nd best defense in the NBA. They've got Pascal Siakam taking steps forward to kind of fill the Kawhi Leonard role. They've got a really tight defense, a deep roster. Don't forget, they still got Kyle Lowry and Marc Gasol, and Norman Powell's played really well this year. You could go on down the list with this team. They are still dangerous. I'm not sure that they have the other gear, the championship gear they had last year without Kawhi, but they are still a dangerous team. And if you sleep on them, they could end up in the conference finals very easily. But number 5 is a team I think it's going to make the conference finals to go against the Bucks. Watch for the Boston Celtics. Look, this was a team starting to really find itself. Kemba Walker's knee, he says, is healthy. We'll see. Beyond that, look, they start Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Gordon Hayward as their top 4. That's switchable. That's long. That's versatile. That defends well. They had a top 5 defense. That's the kind of team that causes a lot of problems for everybody else in the playoffs. You have to like their chances. I'm actually really high on the Celtics. If Milwaukee's going to stumble, I think it's Boston that takes advantage of it. I think they're the team on the rise. Number 6, out west, the battle for Los Angeles is going to decide the West, and it's going to happen 3,000 miles away. Opening night, we get to see these 2 teams go against each other, the Lakers and Clippers. It's going to feel a little like 2 teams that are going to meet in the NFL playoffs that are playing in week 16 or 17, where suddenly it's very vanilla offenses and you're not going to tip your hand. There's going to be some of that, but these teams know each other. These teams know that they are the most likely thing stopping each other from winning the title. It's going to get intense and it's going to be fun. They're going to talk some smack. The fans are going to get into this one, at least out in LA. It's the battle everybody wants to see. It's just happening in a hallway 3,000 miles away from the Staples Center. Number 7, if you're looking for a sneaky team out west, my favorite, watch the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm really high on Oklahoma City. They were really good once they came together. Look, Chris Paul is smart and playoff tested, but the Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Dennis Schroeder lines, when those three are out together with a 3-point guard unit, they've been really good this year. They've got solid play inside with Steven Adams. They still just a rock-solid center who's a little overpaid, but a rock-solid center. They won a lot of games. They were 11-4 after the All-Star break. They are or the last 15 games, I should say, before the end of the season, and hot after the All-Star break. This is a team that I think can at least make the second round and push people. They are better than you think. Keep an eye on the Oklahoma City Thunder, which leads to our number 8 question. What about the Houston Rockets? Like, one of the most fascinating experiments in this thing, not even small ball, it's micro ball. It's PJ Tucker at 6'5", playing center, spacing the floor, running. Is this going to work? Maybe. I mean, I think this was a team that was fatigued. You saw them slump, and maybe teams are catching up a little bit to how to beat them, but they were also just tired. They are a short rotation. They are asking PJ Tucker to play a lot of minutes. A lot was already on James Harden's shoulders, and we've seen him fade. They just got 4 months of rest. Like, I think this team is going to come in energized. I think they're going to be tougher to beat than people realize. I don't think they can beat the Lakers and the Clippers because, look, you look at the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are already both taller than anybody starting on Houston, and I think ultimately tall and good beats small and good. But I really like the Houston Rockets to be a threat in this thing. If it's not, if it comes apart, watch out. And by the way, it's going to come apart this summer. It's still Mike D'Antoni's on his way out the door, and there could be a lot more changes in the front office than just him. Number 9, can the Milwaukee Bucks take the next step? That is really one of the things we're watching, right? Like, on paper, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, best defense in the NBA. He will be the 2-time MVP with Giannis. Like, everything is there for this team to be a title contender, except we haven't seen it, right? Like, we saw them not make the finals last year. We saw them struggle a little bit against Toronto. Is Mike Budenholzer willing to take the next step and be – he didn't really have a great plan B. There wasn't a great plan B there next year when things got tough in the playoffs. I think that changes this year. I think you get a Mike Budenholzer that's actually going to play Giannis 44, 45 minutes a game because he should. I think you're going to see them be a little more aggressive. I think this is their year. Well, we've never seen them do it. And if they stumble, there are very good teams like Boston and Toronto right behind them to make them pay the price. I'm going to keep my eye on the Milwaukee Bucks. Number 10, the last thing you got to watch for, maybe the biggest story in the bubble, are LeBron James and Anthony Davis good enough to win a title? It's not a question, frankly, if they're good enough. Are the players around them good enough to get them there? Because we know, look, LeBron James has won titles. He is going to be in the MVP mix again this year. And you've got 2 of the top 5 players in the league in the Lakers with Davis. You have the best pick and roll in the league with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Is that enough? I mean, yeah, they've got Danny Green, but they don't have Avery Bradley, and they're going to miss him defensively and in certain matchups. They may not have Rajon Rondo against the Clippers. He's coming back from a broken thumb. This is not a deep team to start with. Remember, Dwight Howard spent 65 games like not being a distraction and fitting in, and it was a great story. But now Mr. I don't believe in vaccines has been plenty of a distraction. So are the Lakers going to have enough guys to do this? Are they going to be able to get there with basically LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and whatever they can find around them? Probably. I mean, honestly, that may be good enough to get it done. It's still LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It's still, look, last 5 minutes of a close game, I'm going to run LeBron James, Anthony Davis pick and roll, the best pick and roll in the league. Try and stop it. Throw some good defense in around them, and that may be enough for the Lakers. It's just one of the storylines to watch. There are so many great storylines. Let's get the basketball going. This is so much fun to have the NBA back at the restart in Orlando.